What's up, everybody? Renfail here. Welcome back to another Baldur's Gate 3 guide, and today we're diving into a juicy topic, which is my favorite classes in Baldur's Gate 3. My history with Dungeons & Dragons goes back a long way. I first started playing with First Edition, although it was not my generation's edition. I was born in 1980, so for me, my generation's edition was like Second Edition AD&D into 3.5, which became Pathfinder. But I did learn playing on First Edition because the person that taught me learned on First Edition. And so my earliest campaigns were all in First, and then we graduated to Second Edition. And Second Edition holds a special place in my heart because that's where Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 happened, and it's what I knew. I have a huge collection of Second Edition stuff, and I loved it at the time, and I think it's influenced me over the years with all of the CRPGs I play. But that being said, Fifth Edition is a lot of fun, and I think Baldur's Gate 3 does 5th edition in a really cool way. Larian Studios has put out a gem of a game. It's been a lot of fun, and I want to take you through what my favorite classes are in the game so far and why. Now, you're also going to notice when we go through this guide, you're going to see the racial decisions that I've made for each one of these classes, but I don't dive into the race stuff too much in this particular video because I'm talking about that in other places. So I would also urge you, if you want to see combat, if you want to see me talk about why I've chosen specific races for specific classes and so on and so forth, check out the other videos in the playlist here for Baldur's Gate 3, daily live streams at 10 a.m. Check out all the other stuff too. We do Starfield, Cyberpunk, we're reviewing films and TV shows and books, and we're doing all the sorts of different things we do here on the channel. So check all that stuff out. Join the Discord. Links are down below. Let's get into my favorite classes in Baldur's Gate 3. So probably my favorite class out of the bag, and this applies to pretty much every CRPG I've ever played. I've talked about this in a lot of my videos as well, but the Rogue is generally my favorite class through every CRPG I've ever played, because it gives me the satisfaction of being able to sneak around the battlefield, do a little bit of sneak attack damage, pick all the locks, disarm all the traps, pickpocket if I need to, sneak in and out of places to help the party avoid, really nasty ambushes and the like. I like to be a jack of all trades, all around good rogue. I don't specialize towards assassin or anything like that. I just want to be able to move around the battlefield and do lots of cool stuff. And even going back to point and click games, actually, like looking at the old Quest for Glory games, I always preferred the rogue playthroughs to the wizard playthrough. And if you really want to get super meta about it, I remember back with Quest for Glory 1, my uncle and I went crazy with it, and we just always would dump a bunch of points into the rogue and then put a 1 point in all the skills that we didn't have so that we could at least learn them, and then we would just max the rogue out because it was the one class you could take in Quest for Glory where you could literally max out all the skills if you just wanted to put the time into it and throw rocks at things and climb trees and stuff to get your stats up. So I've always had an affinity for the rogue. It works really good in Baldur's Gate 3. Obviously there's different ways that you can specialize them, but this works generally for me as a really fun playthrough. You can have some cool encounters with killing streaks if you get your sneak attacks go off, but also just being able to run around and do the traps and sneak in and out, disengage, and all the fun things that rogues do make it probably my number one favorite class overall. In Baldur's Gate 3, it's not my favorite so far, but it is one of my favorites, which is something to say about how special Baldur's Gate 3 is in the sense that it's the first game that has had me switch my favorite class ever. And we're going to talk about that favorite class, but it's going to be the last one we talk about because I think it's super special. Now, I cannot say enough good things about the Druid. I am playing a Circle of the Moon Druid through my live series of Let's Play videos, and I absolutely love it. This is the first game, Baldur's Gate 3 is the first game that has got me to switch over and play something other than my Rogue on a first-time playthrough, although the Rogue still was the first thing I ever took through Early Access, so technically I still play the Rogue first in Baldur's Gate 3. But the Druid has taken the cake for me in terms of one of the coolest things I played in the early access, and it inspired me to want to play through it because of the way the Circle of the Moon plays. I really think it's a pretty awesome class in terms of shape shifting and the way you can get into the different animal forms. I mean, owl bear form is just so cool. But there's little things you can do with everything, like the spider form and the wolf form and the bear form. Like they all do little things, but I think owlbear is probably my favorite. Um, but I think the druid in Baldur's Gate 3, it just felt really good with the way they've handled all the conversation checks and the whole first act sort of having you be well, not the whole first act, but the huge portion of the first act where you're just interacting with a Druid Grove, made me really want to dive into it a little bit more. And I've even gotten into the Druid a little bit more on other games. I recently played through Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2 Deadfire before Baldur's Gate 3 launched, and I did a Druid playthrough on Deadfire. I did the Ranger Beastmaster with the first game, but then I went and did a Druid for Deadfire, and had a lot of fun. And so I was able to carry that over into Baldur's Gate 3, and this has proved to be highly enjoyable for me so far. Um, it's not the best in terms of being the face for your party, um, because it's not a charisma-based build, but you can still get along fairly well without it. And it's just really fun to play through the game so far. And the combat is a lot of fun as well because you're able to switch between spell casting and doing different things with your builds, with your shapes, which is a lot of fun. You've probably seen the Sorcerer pop up on some of my guide videos because he is the offline character that I'm playing through the game right now. And it's been a lot of fun with this character so far. I traditionally, Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 2, Icewind Dale 1, Icewind Dale 2, I always liked having a wizard in my party, and I've played the wizard multiple times through Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I've also done a wizard in Pillars of Eternity 1 and Deadfire. And matter of fact, the most recent Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition playthrough I did last year was a wizard. Um, this time around, though, I tried the sorcerer out, and I love the way sorcery points work, and being able to like twin spells and do like meta magic stuff and quick spells and all this other stuff. So it adds a level of interesting strategy to a caster class where you also you don't have the versatility of the wizard in terms of you don't have this huge array of spells that you can cast from. It's a more of a narrowed focus, but because it's a narrowed focus, you get more potency and more cool things that you can do with the spells that you have. And it's a charisma based character, which means my conversations are just amazing because I'm winning all of the conversations with this character. So it's a lot of fun. I think that anybody who wants to be really good at conversations and spellcasting, you should definitely go with the sorcerer because it fills that niche perfectly. The Ranger Beastmaster is a character that I've enjoyed a lot. Pillars of Eternity 1, I did it through Deadfire as well. I've done it through Solasta and now into Baldur's Gate 3. This was the second character I played through Early Access when it launched a few years ago. And I haven't played it in live a lot yet. I've done a little bit of preparation for when I might take this character through, but I know from early access, and I've watched Wolfheart playing a little bit of, I think, one as well, and just because of the traditions that I have with this character and the way it plays so far in the early stages of the game, I really love this character. I've loved it for a long time, and the Ranger for me has a special place in my heart. The character Renfail, the username that I use, that D&D character started in the late 90s as a half-elf ranger, and that character has stuck with me over the years. My first EverQuest character was a Wood Elf Ranger. I have played Wood Elf Rangers in probably every game I've ever played, and then I started specializing more towards the Beastmaster side of things, I think around the time that Guild Wars 2 came out. Also a little bit of World of Warcraft, throwing the Beast Mastery in there, and then getting into Deadfire, Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, and then into Baldur's Gate 3. It's a lot of fun, and I think this combined with the familiars, you get two animal companions that do a lot of utility. It's not about being a max DPS ranger, it's about being a utility ranger who has lots of different things they can do with their animal companions, and also being able to do a reasonable amount of DPS. So it's a lot of fun for me. So yeah, Ranger Beastmaster, for those of you who out there who want to do a little pew pew maybe. You can also get up close and personal, but you have pets at your disposal, so wolves and bears and cats and all sorts of fun things. It's a lot of fun to play. What's up, everybody? Quick commercial break here to give it a shout out to our guild champions, who are the highest tier memberships here on YouTube: Ancient Entity, Assassin Gamer 94, Babylonia Rising, Crazy's Relative, Mujin, and Remedy. Thanks so much for the highest tier membership, and thanks to all of the members who support the channel, because you keep me doing this full time. You too can become a supporter if you're new here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Join as a member. There's 3 different tiers. We do lots of special stuff: private polls, private get videos. You get a shout out if you're the highest tier membership, but you can also do one-off donations in the form of super chats on any live stream or premiere you see, and of course super thanks on any upload or YouTube short. Whatever you can contribute, it's great. Keeps me on the air full time, keeps the cats fed, keeps the homestead running. Anyway, back to the video, everybody. This one right here came as a surprise to me, everybody, because I did not expect the Bard to be so damn fun. I have never played a Bard as a primary in any game I've ever played, and I don't think I've ever played a Bard in any serious playthrough apart from one time in Baldur's Gate 2. I did a Bard, I want to say maybe 8 or 10 sessions before I gave up the ghost. The Bard has never been something I thought was fun until Baldur's Gate 3. So I started playing the Bard in the early access a couple of months before launch, when I was doing the multiplayer testing with Mujin and Babylonia. And then since the game has come out live, this is the character I'm playing in that multiplayer session. Even though this is not my main character, and it's not the one that I'm playing through in the live streams, it's not the one I'm doing in my offlines, the Bard takes the cake for me as the funnest character, the favorite character that I've played in Baldur's Gate 3 so far, because of how much fun you have in conversations. The writing for this game, the dialogue options they give you on the Bard are absolutely hilarious and amazing. Also, what they did with, Vicious Mockery, where they recorded like 90 plus insults in all the different voices for all the different, narrations, so that you get all these permutations of the insults. The things they've done with the Bard class show an absolute love of the Bard, and it was enough to inspire me to want to try it. And then once I did, I went, oh my god, the Bard is so amazing. So for me, this is the one that I think is my favorite class so far after playing for the past 3 years and into launch. I might change over time, but so far the Bard takes the cake as just the most amazing. The conversation you have with Volo in the Druid camp when you're describing the goblin attack. And normally, if you're on another character, he exaggerates all his answers, and you're just like rolling your eyes, going, "Okay, buddy." But if you're a bard, you make the same exaggerations, and he's just like looking at you, regale him with this tale, and he's like, "Oh, are you serious? That sounds absolutely amazing." And he writes it down exactly as you describe it to him, rather than adding his own embellishments, or at least less of his own embellishments, because you've already embellished it with the bard. It's a lot of fun, so this takes the cake for me. So there you have it, everybody. Those are my picks for the favorite classes that I've played so far throughout early access into live, and what I plan on pursuing over the next few years. Currently, I'm playing the Druid. I'm then also simultaneously playing the Drow Sorcerer, although at a slower pace, and then I'm doing the Bard in the multiplayer sessions. Once I finish up the Druid, I will be switching over to something else, which will probably be the Rogue. And then at some point, I will get to the Ranger Beastmaster later on down the line. In any case, hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. We'll see you in the next video. Don't forget the Discord. Links are down below. Stay safe, everybody. Happy gaming.